Hi everybody, my name is Terza and this is an hour-long restorative without any props required. In fact, if you do not even have a yoga mat on hand, you can still practice. A yoga mat is not needed to get some yoga in. You can use a soft blanket or even a carpet. So all you need to bring is yourself and an hour. If you do have props, however, I will show some cues that you can use props in if you prefer to use some props in your practice today. In restorative, if this is your first time practicing restorative, it is a longer held series. So we'll be holding each pose for a few minutes at a time. And the idea is to let the body move into a sleep-like state where the muscles can find a deeper relaxation and the whole body can find a softer time to just find stillness. And we'll begin today's practice in a comfortable seat, checking in on our breath. So whatever position you would like to find yourself to, whether cross-legged or on your knees. If you're comfortable closing your eyes or perhaps just looking at the tip of your nose, softening the eyelids. Without changing the breath, noticing the texture, the tempo, the pace of your regular day-to-day breathing. Beginning to allow a few moments for the mind to arrive here along with the body. You can be somewhere physically, but far away in the mind. So just letting it begin to re-enter the body into this present moment. And taking about 5 more rounds of breath right here, perhaps deepening the inhale, lengthening the exhale, seeing what calls to you. Maybe finding a slight pause on the breath in, a slight pause on the breath out, creating space for your practice, customizing these couple moments just to be exactly what you need to be for yourself. And if this right here, just breathing, sitting quietly, tuning in. If this feels like your practice, please stay here as long as you need, perhaps for the rest of the hour. That would be perfect. If, however, you would like to continue on to our first physical pose, you can slide the legs around. I'll be seated facing lengthwise on my mat, but you can face the front or the side, whatever your preference. Taking the legs out nice and wide. And if at any time you feel a painful sensation or begins to feel like there's too much tension or something that is happening that shouldn't be, removing yourself from the situation, backing out of the pose. Pain is never a gain, no matter what area of practice we're in. So always removing yourself from the pain if you feel that beginning to happen. Restorative is not so much about the intensity, it's about the time to soften in. And since this is prop-free, perhaps not going down as deep as you usually would with a prop. You can walk your hands down to your elbows, or maybe just stay pressing on your hands. If, as we get deeper into this pose, you would like to guide your body slowly further towards the floor, you're welcome to do that. Softening the crown of the head, opening base of neck, or body lowering down towards floor, rooting in, or softening in left shoulder region, right shoulder region. Tension leaving left hip and right hip. Exhaling out any tightness down the back. Bringing a little bit more awareness into the breath. Giving the body a heads up it's about to move, so we do not suddenly surprise the muscles. Slowly being mindful of the stillness we've been in, pressing the torso all the way back up. Heel toeing the feet together and bending your knees. Wrapping your arms around your legs, giving yourself a little hug, because that's important to do. Forehead to knees, curling in a little bit. Perhaps smile to yourself because you're putting aside some time. It might sound a little corny, but maybe giving yourself a positive affirmation here, or just a little good job. Or making some space for yourself today. Allow both your knees to drop to the left side of the mat. And shimmy that right foot behind you. We're moving into a sleeping swan. Some people call it kin stretch 90-90. It's a different variation of pigeon. It's a little bit gentler on that femur pulling into the hip. This allows us more control over how much intensity we want to bring into this hip opener. How much intensity and depth do we want to place on this left side? So seeing if we can get that left ankle to be in line with the left knee, and that knee to be in line with your hip. And then checking in on your back foot, making sure it's in line with your right knee is in line with your right hip. Nice long lines of energy connecting. If you are utilizing a prop in your practice today, you can slip it on top of your left thigh. Otherwise, just walking your hands down, walking your chest down, to a depth that feels comfortable for you today. And that can always change as we get deeper into the time here. There is no set pose. You can adjust at any given moment. Thinking softness in crown of head, softness in base of skull, eyes lowering down towards earth. Deepening your breath. Lifting your torso all the way back up. Awesome. From here we have a couple options. We're going to be stepping the right foot all the way around the world over the left leg. Sliding a left heel down to meet right glute. Getting all kinds of twisty. From here, if this feels uncomfortable for your left knee, this is a big bend. You can extend that left leg out in front of you. If you would like to try a little more in the hips, if both sit bones are touching on the ground, you can begin to slide that right kneecap down to meet the left, letting them say hello. Getting all friendly here. Making sure both sit bones are on the earth if the kneecaps are touching. From here, if you're utilizing a prop, sliding that prop on top of you and just giving it a hug, sinking down. If you're prop free, walking your hands out wide, leaning your torso down to a depth that suits you, as always, finding a place in the pose that's customized to your unique body in this present moment. Big breath in, exhale, think softening all the way down, torso. Softening all the way down, left leg and right leg, left arm and right arm, in corners of eyes and jaw and chin. Letting the head weigh heavy towards earth, no tension in back of neck, maybe nodding it or shaking it if the neck's trying to help out. Our necks are like little siblings, they're always trying to help out, so just letting any tension go here, nodding it yes. There's no need for the neck to be holding on here. Taking a longer inhale. Beginning to lift out of this position. To unravel, unstacking right foot first. Then unstacking left foot. Doing a little windshield wiper, left and right. Then fancy transitions, sliding all the way to the right side for our sleeping swan here. Right ankle in line of right knee, knee in line of hip, left in line of left knee, knee in line with hip. If you're using a prop, sliding it on top of your right thigh. Otherwise, reclining all the way down to depth that suits you on this hip. And no hip is structured the same from left to right on the body, from individual to individual. So this side might need an entirely different setup, seeing where this pose takes you in this present moment, not trying to replicate the past or mimic a future idea. Hanging out right here and now, with your right hip. Getting a little hip. Forehead all the way down towards ground. Deepening your breath just a little bit. Beginning to lift the torso all the way back up. Taking that left leg around the world all the way until it's over the right knee. Sliding right heel down by left glute. If this is uncomfortable for your right knee, just as we did on the other side, extending that leg out nice and long. If you would look like an alternative pose from here, you can snuggle that left knee down towards right knee, making sure sit bones are nice and situated on the ground. If you're using a prop, taking prop, sliding it on top of left thigh and hugging it in, otherwise walking hands down, exhaling, releasing out any tension in low back and hips even more. Crown of head heavy towards mat, perhaps giving your legs a hug. Taking the arms out wide, holding on to opposite elbows here. Whatever feels comfortable for your arms. Beginning to lift your torso all the way back up. Unraveling left leg. Unraveling right. Planting hands behind you. Little windshield motions left and right. And we've been bringing a lot of attention to the lower body here. So let's give some care to our shoulders and upper back for these next few minutes of class. On your time, rolling your legs behind you, arriving on your stomach. And these are focusing in on the shoulder, and if this does not feel comfortable on the shoulder, I'll give an alternative. We'll be taking left hand out to the side, palm down, bringing left cheek down to the mat. From here, bending into right knee and pressing sole of right foot towards ceiling so that right thigh is lifting off the mat. As you exhale, twist that left foot up and over. You're stacking right hip on top of left. If this feels uncomfortable for your left shoulder, you can slide that left arm underneath you instead, so you're resting on the outside of your arm. We're here for just about 2 to 3 minutes, not as long. Always coming out of the posture at any time if it begins to feel uncomfortable. And right here we can press slightly into the outside of that left hand to have roll our shoulder just a little bit open, preventing our shoulder from collapsing into the mat. But just a little bit of pressure pressing into the outside of that left pinky side. Begin to roll your torso back to center. Right leg returns to the ground. And switching sides. Right hand out to side, palm down. Right cheek to mat. Bending into left leg, pressing sole of left foot towards ceiling, so your left thigh bone lifts. Behind your leg. If this is uncomfortable for your right shoulder, sliding the arm over to the left side of the mat instead. Pressing gently into outside of hand just a little bit to roll that shoulder open. Sliding left knee back down to ground. Rolling chest back to center. Here another very fancy transition. Just rolling over onto your back. You can give your knees a little hug in if this feels nice, because you can never give yourself too many hugs. Maybe forehead meets knees, giving yourself an extra close hug, giving yourself a good job. Find whatever shape you would like to here for your Shavasana. It's more customizing, adapting, making this your own. Finding all softness through body, all softness in breath and mind, gentleness behind eyelids, behind ears, in lower back. And this is your time. Staying here as long as you need, there is no rush. If a full-out yoga nap sounds brilliant, then staying there and having a yoga nap. If, however, you're ready to bring your time for yourself for this practice to a close to begin the rest of your day, you can make your way back to a seat, finishing as we began in a full circle to finish and bring this time period to a close to begin the rest of our day. As we did in the opening, taking notice of breath, texture, type, depth, sensation of inhale and exhale, seeing if perhaps it's a little bit different or the same. And thank you so much for being here, for putting aside some time. I'm so happy we got to hang out together and practice. Please let me know if you have any questions. My name is Terza, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Thanks, y'all.